Welcome, guys. Welcome. On this broadcast, I am going to give some game to the little bros, the nephews, and it is titled Young Black Men, Your 20s Playbook for Success and Survival. I'm going to get right to the point, guys, and I'm going to play a video before I get into my topic.
You're a black man, black or brown man, and you get to a certain age, nobody care about you no more.
Right.
Nobody cares.
Right.
If it ain't your family, nobody in the world cares that you succeed or that you're happy, or that you're healthy, or you're any of them things, right? So you have to set yourself up. You're a black man.
I want to play that one more time.
Black or brown man, and you get to a certain age, nobody care about you no more.
Right.
Nobody cares.
Right.
If it ain't your family, nobody in the world cares that you succeed or that you're happy, or that you're healthy, or you're any of them things, right? So you have to do that yourself. You have to set yourself up. You're a black.
Guys, I want to talk about your 20s, a playbook for success and survival. I can make this video because I am approaching another birthday, and I went through my 20s, guys. And a lot of times we are taught that when you're young, that it should be a carefree time, that life is about just having fun. First of all, I would like to say that if you're going through something in your life, I want you to remain strong. I want you to think good thoughts. And I want you to realize that you are going through a decade that's about transformation. You're going from, you went through puberty, but you're not at the place of older men yet. You are still budding into who you're going to become. And I believe that society has unreal expectations for young men. You know, when you're 20 years old, 25, 27, 28, 29, you're not a kid, but in many ways, you're a kid in the aspect of you've only been an adult for chronologically a few years. So on this broadcast, I'm going to give some game to the little bros and the nephews, and things that someone probably should have told you, but I'm going to give you the game because I went through it and I survived it. And your 20s, guys, you're going to go through a lot of highs and lows. A lot of your friends that you have from high school or college or people that you met along the way, some of the people closest to you by the end of your decade in your 20s, you're probably no longer going to be friends with, or life is going to take you guys in different directions. A lot of people close to you guys are not even going to be alive by the time you reach 30. Close friends, grandparents, parents, favorite cousins, things that really shaped your identity as a young person is really going to affect you or may affect you as you go through your 20s, guys. I want to share this game with you because maybe it will inspire you to keep going. We have so many men that feel like they're in a culture of isolation. They feel very isolated, um, alienated from the group. And times are changing so rapidly that even 10 years ago, guys, things were not like they are now. We had the internet and we were on the internet, but it still wasn't a part of our day like it is today. And I think that a lot of young people, one of the problems that they have is that when you have so much movement, you're watching what everyone else is doing. it can lead to indecisiveness, which leads me to number one, the power of decisiveness, guys. Setting a goal is just a start. The power of decisiveness is the true key to reaching it. It's about making choices and committing to them, especially when facing the unknown on the road. So that's rule number one, guys. The power of decisiveness. Whatever you're going to do, you have to make a decision to do it, guys. If you say that you're going to do something, do it. Now, what I learned to do, and someone gave me some great game when I was young, they told me, hey, ask yourself, if I do this, what are the consequences going to be? Guys, when you're in your 20s, I know it's going to be really tempting to stay out drinking, to do drugs, to chase entertainment with sex or whatever your orientation is. But if you have a goal in mind, just ask yourself, does these things line up with my main goal? You have to learn self-control, because if you don't learn self-control, you're going to end up in places you don't want to be. Okay? And so I'm going to base a lot of what I learned in my 20s from traveling. Traveling is something that I spent the majority of my 20s doing, guys. Whether that was leaving home from the first time going to college, whether that was um, being away from home, being away from my parents, to going overseas for the first time, to entering the trucking industry and traveling throughout 4 years, the people that I met along the way. And a lot of the lessons I'm going to share with you have come from my experience as a traveler. And so what I would say is your 20s are a transformative decade. And I learned so much traveling both domestically and abroad. And I'm going to share with you the experiences and what getting out of your comfort zone can do to help you build the life that you want. So number one is the power of decisiveness, guys. So often you're going to be in positions where you're going to think about doing something. You're going to want to do something. But if you don't put it in your mind that you're going to do it, then you're never going to get there. You're going to learn a trade, go to university, if you want to travel the world, even if it's something as simple as moving to a new city. If you don't put your mind to it and you don't operate with the power of decisiveness and you're indecisive, you're going to struggle, guys. You're going to struggle, guys. And I'm going to play this clip to highlight exactly what I mean.
Black man, black or brown man, you get to a certain age, nobody care about you no more.
Right.
Nobody cares.
Right.
If it ain't your family, nobody in the world cares that you succeed or that you're happy, or that you're healthy, or you're any of them things, right? So you have to do that yourself. You have to set yourself up. You're a black.
You have to set yourself up, and that comes with the power of decisiveness, guys. So setting a goal is just a start. The power of decisiveness is the true key to reaching it. It's about making choices and committing to them, especially when facing the unknown on the road, guys. When you make a decision, small decisions, guys, can have far-reaching consequences in your life. Little small decisions. You won't realize it then, but something as simple as showing up on time, being courteous to others, making a decision in your mind that you're going to do what you have to do to reach your goal, making positive choices, good choices, is going to really help you make the life that you want. And so often, guys, when you're young, you're not going to make good choices because you don't really understand cause and effect. You're not going to make good choices because you don't understand cause and effect. A lot of young people don't understand that if I do this, the result is going to be this. Now, if you ask yourself, hey, whatever your name is the consequence of this? For example, if you study for your test, odds are you're going to do better than people who don't study. If you become if you get a friend group that's alcoholics, then odds are you may become an alcoholic. You get what I'm saying? So you have to make a decision. You have to use the power of decisiveness. And when you do this, that's a superpower like gift, because when you make a decision, that puts you in the driver's seat to get on the right side of cause and effect, guys. And I had to learn this, and this became my superpower in my 20s. When I give an example, when I first started traveling overseas, guys, I wanted to go with other people. The first time I went overseas, I went with the girl that I was dating. And then we broke up, time passed, and I wanted to go back overseas. I asked my friends, my close friends at the time, hey, would you guys like to go overseas with me? And a lot of them was like, overseas is cool or whatever, but I'm really not trying to do that. And so I ended up going by myself. And when I went by myself, it changed everything for me, because it was the power of decisiveness, guys. I chose to go overseas. I chose to make my life the way that I wanted it to be. And when you can do that, guys, that is actually a superpower. When you can decide what it is that you want to do, the people that are uh and I'm going to play this clip explaining that. And when I went there, guys, this was one of the like periods in my life that was so hard. Like when I went to Colombia, like my life in the States was really hard. God helped me regroup. It helped me regroup. And I say that because, guys, when you make a decision to do something in your life, you don't know how far little things can do to help your life, guys. Like I believe in changing your environment. If your environment is not good, change your environment. Even if you have to give up everything that you have in the moment, which a lot of people may look at you crazy for doing that. But when I first started going overseas, I was by myself. Then that became my power of decisiveness became a superpower, because I started applying that to different areas. I I overcame my fear of doing things alone. I no longer really needed other people to do it with me. I learned that I can do it by myself, and that built confidence. And then I ended up going to other countries, and I started going to other states, catching flights, going to other states in my 20s. And I didn't have a lot of money, but when I was committed to doing it, it actually helped me a lot. And that's one of the things I would share with you as a young man, is the power of decisiveness, guys. That's like number one. You got to make your mind up of who you want to be, where you want to go. And through time and experience, you're going to learn more about who you are as an individual and what you don't want. Two, travel reveals strengths and weaknesses. Two, travel reveals your strengths and weaknesses. Stepping into new environments through travel can be an incredible mirror, honestly, and clearly exposing both your strengths and weaknesses. You learn what you're capable of when pushed. And so a lot of times, guys, when you're just graduating high school, a lot of people choose to go to the military. They choose to not go to the military or college or trade school. They just say that they're going to wing it and figure it out. Some people go straight into university, and no matter what you choose to do, when you find yourself in a new environment, what that's going to do is going to show you your strengths and weaknesses. When you're in a new environment with new people, around people that you never met before, whether that's a job site or you're doing something or you're trying to do something constructive with your life, you're going to learn what you're capable of when pushed and where you need to grow. We all have room to grow. And I believe that traveling will reveal your strengths and weaknesses. In your 20s, I met a lot of guys that haven't had a lot of experience traveling in their 20s. And I think that this is one of the things that young men really should be taught to do, guys. Um, if you are in your 20s, and let's say you don't have any real responsibilities as far as a serious girlfriend or children or a child, traveling can actually create the foundation that you need to reach the next level. If you grew up in a small town, or let's say you grew up in a city, but all you know out of the city, if you grew up in a small town and all you know is your county lines, or I'm from Louisiana, we have parishes. If all you know is your parish or the surrounding parish or your county and your surrounding counties, then that's how big your world is. And everything that you think you know is shaped by what you have experienced in that area. But if you leave that area, it can have a transformative effect on you as an individual. The people that you think are cool, if you travel, you will realize, like, hey, yeah, those guys are cool, but you know, this over here is also cool. Things that people made fun of you for in one place, you travel to another place, and then you can be praised or even learn to turn your weaknesses into strengths. Traveling really reveals your strengths and weaknesses. And as a young man, this is something that you're going to want to experience both sides of the coin. What makes you strong? What makes you weak? You're going to want to have these experiences so that you can grow, so that you can be the best that you can be. And I realize that we live in a world, guys, and are really sheltered. And I can say that because I grew up very sheltered. My parents wanted to keep me on a leash, so to speak, because I came from a place that could be deemed as violent, a violent state, a dangerous state. But you can't have a fear of traveling, guys, because you can't be where you are afraid to challenge yourself. So if you're just joining the broadcast, this one is on young black men, your 20s playbook for success and survival, guys. And what you're seeing on this background, that was me in Colombia, guys. So I'm speaking from experience. And most of what I learned in my 20s, really, I learned from traveling and going different places. So I'm going to share with you um, what I learned along my journey. God blessed me to be able to start traveling overseas. 5 years later, guys, I'm out here and I'm like, man, I think I cherish the memories and the experiences of being able to explore these different places more than I do a material. Honestly, like, I would rather, if I had a choice to spend $20,000 on traveling to different places or $20,000 on like a luxury car or something like that, I would. So when I turned 20, I would choose the experience, guys. And it's so much that you're going to learn in your 20s, and you're going to go through really devastating things. And that's why I made the background a young man and a family looking at a casket, guys, because in my 20s I experienced death, and I know what it's like to lose people close to you. I lost my dad to gun violence. His birthday was yesterday. He would have been 59 years old. And I lost my brother 2 years later, a year and a half later, to gun violence also. So I'm not somebody that's just speaking to speak, and I'm hoping that I'm speaking and conveying a constructive message to you in the process of me sharing the things that I learned along the way. And if I wasn't a traveler, because I had to get stronger, because I went through a lot of these things while I was still trucking in my career. And it was a quote that I read in the 50 Cent book, Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter. And he was talking about how when he was learning the boxing instructor told him a moving target is hard to hit. And in life, sometimes, guys, that's how you have to be. You have to learn to be a moving target. Sometimes you have to learn when it's time to stand your ground. But sometimes in life, guys, you just have to keep moving. You have to keep moving. Easy for your opponent, whether it's metaphysical or it's internal, to conquer you. And I would argue that we have internal conflicts and external conflicts. Excuse me. So back to the message. One, the power of decisiveness. Setting a goal is just a start. The power of decisiveness is the true key to reaching it. It's about making choices and committing to them, especially when facing the unknown on the road. Two, travel reveals strengths and weaknesses. Stepping into new environments through travel can be an incredible mirror, clearly exposing both your strengths and weaknesses. You learn what you're capable of when pushed and where you need to grow. Three, now this is a big one that we all face. Media's influence on perception. Media often paints a picture of a world in crisis, leading us to believe that the sky is falling. If you learn to travel and get through that, you will also learn that a lot of what is projected is not necessarily real. It's real, yes, but if you learn to travel, you would also learn to challenge uh, things that you've been taught. And I would argue that the world is the best teacher that you can have, guys. If you're in your 20s, what you learned in the classroom is cool. What you learned in your little neighborhood or your city, that's cool. But it's still a larger world. And what you learn along the way, you're going to learn that the media's influence on perception can actually shape your reality. And I would challenge you to make the world in your image. Okay. And what I've discovered is that what the media paint can create a paralyzing fear. And that reality is often less dire than what's presented. And I say that because when I first went to Colombia, all I heard was Pablo Escobar, cartels is dangerous, Netflix and stuff like that. But when I went there, not saying it's not dangerous, because the world is dangerous, but I learned that I didn't have to live in fear, and it made the world I knew much larger. So if you're in your 20s, I would encourage you to learn as much as you can through experience, because the media is going to definitely influence your perception, but your perception is not necessarily reality because it's billions of people on the planet and they don't all have the same perception. They all believe different things. And so traveling and experiences with other people is going to really help you. 4, embrace breaking routine. This is something I learned in my 20s, guys. It's perfectly okay, even necessary, to break your routine and do something different. Travel teaches us the value of spontaneity and how stepping off the well-worn path can lead to unexpected discoveries, guys. Believe it or not, guys, most of us do the same thing every single day. We eat the same foods, we travel the same path to work, to school, home. We have the same conversations with the same people over and over again, and that's cool. That's culture. But when you embrace breaking your routine, you take a different route home. You try different foods. You do different things. You're going to become a different version of yourself. You are who you are because you have a certain routine that helped make you who you are. But when you break that routine and do something different, once again, it can have a constructive result on you. And that's what we all should seek. And I say this to my young black men because I want you to embrace breaking your routine. A lot of times, guys, you're going to have to learn to be independent in when it comes to action, because you won't necessarily have a lot of people to do it with you. Not saying that they are bad people, but if you embrace breaking your routine, and let's say you want to do something that's constructive, but your friends don't want to do it, are you not going to do it? Let's say you want to learn. Let's say you want to learn a certain skill that's, you know, different than what most people do. Are you not going to do it? So sometimes breaking your routine and doing something different can really impact you in a positive way and can lead you to unexpected discoveries, guys. Um, I would say a lot of times I have to stop myself, like when I'm speaking about something, because since I've been to certain places, I have to realize that my experience in certain places have shaped the way I view the world. And I'm not the same person I was at 20 years old. I think totally different. So I remember somebody brought up something that I said when I was 20 years old. Somebody was like, hey, I remember when you were this age, you said this, and now you're saying this. I have all of the information that I have now. It's okay for you to change the way you view things, change your opinion. If you get more information, you learn to look at things from another perception. It's okay to change your belief system, guys. We're not going to be the same because we have experiences that shape us. And I have to challenge myself. I'm still challenging myself to embrace breaking my routine. It could be something small like going to the gym, working out. Breaking your routine can actually help you. 5, your mindset is key. 5, your mindset is key. There's a quote that says, wherever you go, some of your problems will follow because they reside in your mind. Changing your thinking takes time and effort, but is worth the investment. A lot of times, guys, you want to change your environment, yes, but certain problems that you experience are internal. And so, since they're internal, you're going to experience these things because it's something on the inside of us that we have to change. It's not necessarily external all the time. But in order to do that, you have to begin changing your thinking, and that takes time. And it can be difficult to do, but it's worth the investment, guys. And I would like to say this to my young black men: you're for success and survival. That changing your thinking, guys, is worth the investment. I know we live in a culture, guys. The environment is not the healthiest. You're being told to do things. You're getting told to express your anger in certain ways, to express your sadness in certain ways. Alcohol and drugs are pushed on us, and we're told that we should self-medicate using these things, and these things can have extremely negative consequences for us and for others in our immediate environment. And also, not just that, the way that we relate to others, guys, we're taught a lot of negative things when it comes to that. And so I would tell you that we have to learn how to handle things, even if it's the worst thing that you ever imagined happening to you. You still have to challenge your belief system to get over it. And I know that that's tough, guys, because I know that we go through things that no one cares about, guys. And so I'm telling you that you can't give up. Even if you feel like giving up, sometimes we have to challenge what we're thinking in order to keep going. And I believe that if you're lucky, you're going to meet people along the way that are going to become your new friends, your new family, and they're going to the way you think also.
December 3rd, 2021. That's when I lost my swear to God, that shit still feel the same, bro. That shit still feel the same. I haven't accepted it yet, for real. I don't know when I'll get to that point, bro, but I just can't accept it, for real. It's so hard to it's just so hard to understand. It really is. My mama was my world, bro. Everything reminds me of her too, like for real. Everything. Everything is a trigger. That's another reason why I kind of stay to myself for real, because it's hard for me to even like be around people, be around certain shit. Like it's so hard for me to do that, bro. That's why I just I stay put. Like I be chilling in my own world. Like only time I interact for real is when I'm coaching or at the gym or obviously at work. You feel me? But just being around people, man, that shit, everything is a trigger. I swear to God, especially.
Guys, we go through things that you're in your 20s, guys. You may lose your mother, you may lose your father. Some people lose both of them. You may lose your brother, you may lose your close friend. In your 20s, guys, you're going to go through things that's really going to shape who you are. You're going to go through the trenches, and no matter, it doesn't discriminate on if you're wealthy, if you're middle class, if you're poor. Life does not discriminate. You're going to go through it. Now, how you react and respond to it is on you. And money, can't change that. You know, is because it's an internal conflict. What my man was going through, and rest in peace to his mother, and respect to you, brother. T Gibbs O2, respect to you. And what we go through in life is so challenging that is important, guys, for you to learn that your mindset is key. That changing your thinking takes time and effort, but it's an investment truly worth making, guys. Because there's a quote, like I said, wherever you go, some of your problems will follow because they reside in your mind. It's a battle of your mind. Your mindset is key. So just a quick recap. One is the power of decisiveness. Two, travel reveals strengths and weaknesses. Three, media's influence on perception. Four, five, your mindset is key. Six, challenging limiting beliefs. A moment of clarity. I'm going to give you guys a short story similar to this man that I was just playing in the clip. When I went to Colombia, my dad had passed away, and I was going through a serious breakup. And I was standing on the balcony. In fact, let me show you the balcony. I was standing on the balcony in Colombia, guys. And I remember crying on the balcony, like just looking at the they were building a new condo high rise. I was just looking at it. And I left that morning and they were working on it. And then when I came back that night, they were still working on it. And I remember just standing on the balcony in Boca Grande, Cartagena, Colombia. And I was just looking at the ocean, guys. And I just remember thinking about where my life was at this, and I cried. And I just remember thinking like, man, I was at a very low point in my life. And I almost thought about just giving up completely, guys. And I ended up doing exactly what I'm telling you. And I was in a moment of challenging my limiting beliefs. You know, this was the first time I went to a all Spanish speaking country by myself. You know, I was overseas by myself. You know, I hustled the money to get there and stuff like that. And I was just thinking to myself, like, it's all on me. And that's the first time, like, I had felt that at a very young age, you know, and I didn't have anybody to be there with me. It was all on me. And I learned a profound truth. And that's that many of my deeply held beliefs are not true. They're only true in my mind. And that we can achieve things far beyond what we've been told is possible, guys. You have to learn to challenge your beliefs. If your beliefs are limiting you, you have to challenge that. And I struggle with this right now. And that's because changing your thinking takes time and effort and is not easy. But challenging limiting beliefs can have profound constructive results, guys. And that's number 6. Challenging. One is power of decisiveness. 2, travel reveals strengths and weaknesses. 3, the media's influence on perception. 4, embrace breaking routine. 5, problems follow and your mindset is key. 6, challenging limiting beliefs. 7, recognizing systemic marginalization, guys. What I've learned is that being poor or uneducated isn't necessarily a personal failure. Why? Because it's often the result of a system designed to marginalize communities and maintain the status quo. So when you start traveling in your 20s, a lot of times all you have, like for when all you have is what's on the inside of you. And that's one of the biggest things I learned is like when I started traveling, I was like, I'm from Louisiana. So I was like, man, Louisiana is all in me. It's in the way that I talk, it's in the way that I view the world, it's in the way that I relate to the world. Because I spent the majority of my life in my home state. But traveling put little pieces of other places inside of me too. And one thing I learned is that, for example, the cost of living in one country living in another country could be totally different. So you might go to another country and you might realize like, wow, I was lower middle class or poor in my home country. and I'm upper middle class in another country. And this is a result of systemic marginalization, guys, that the whole system is designed to maintain the status quo. You may think that you are not smart or uneducated because you went to some school in your community, some teacher didn't pass you on the test, or you wasn't disciplined enough. But then you continue to persevere and learn new things. And then you realize, like, everything that I've been told, not all of that stuff is true. And I want to show you exactly what I mean. Because a lot of times we've been told things and we believe what we've been told.
In Mexico, I was only paying $200 for rent and utilities, all bills basically. Guess how much I'm paying right now for this little room apartment type of thing situation. So we got a full bathroom with the shower, the sink, the toilet. You already know my luggage in there, but we got a little sink, a little stove. The water pressure ain't great, honestly, but it's water. And we got a little set.
Every day hustle like William, I'm charging the chicken just for the.
A lot of times, guys, and that goes back to number uh rule number 7, recognizing systemic marginalization. I realize that being poor or uneducated isn't necessarily a personal failing, because when you switch lanes and you go to another place and you realize, like, wow, over here I would be in a different social class, or I would be perceived differently by others, then you're forced to confront that the system is designed to marginalize communities and maintain the status quo. So you must break free and challenge that system if you so choose to live your best life. Okay?
So I recently spent a month staying at an Airbnb of a retired Canadian here in Panama, and he has an amazing setup here. Perhaps I could ask him if he'd be willing to share a little bit more about his process and how he went about things. But in general, I can comment that Panama can be expensive if you're living in the city. If you go outside of the city, it can be cheap, but expensive, I'm talking about you could pay maybe $1,500 for a nice condo with 2 or 3 bedrooms, perhaps 2 or 3 bathrooms. If you're looking to buy, I'm not an expert on this either, but just looking from what I've seen in real estate offices and in the mall, there are houses starting from about $50,000, and a nice condo or a bigger apartment here could cost up to $700,000. But although Panama always ranks in the top 10.
Now, why am I showing this to you guys? I'm showing this to you guys because a lot of times, guys, our belief systems should be challenged. Okay? 8. Life is the greatest educator. While various forms of formal education, public, private, trade, or university, are valuable, what I've learned is that life in its totality is the greatest educator. Real world experience offer lessons no classroom can replicate. Okay? Forget what they tell you about these other places of where you're supposed to learn. And I'm not undervaluing them, because those are real world experiences too. But life, guys, really living experiences is what's going to really educate you, guys. If you want to learn a language, sure, you can uh get an app or go on a computer, take a class. But if you're in a place where that language is predominantly spoken, that's the real world. That's what I'm saying. If you want to learn um anything, you have to You have to make your environment that in order to learn. Real world experiences offers lessons no classroom can replicate. Number 9. Number 9 is a big one, guys. Uh Number 9 is a big one, guys. So often, guys, we are told what we're not. And number 9 is something that's motivational, and that's that you are enough. There's no others. Okay. You possess immense potential with what the universe has already given you. You're unique in your own way. You have gifts that are powerful no matter who you are. There's no need to envy others, guys. You are enough. You possess immense potential. The universe has already given it to you. You just have to tap into it. Tap into who you really are and not what others say that you are. That's number 9. Number 10, the importance of kindness to self and others. Kindness is paramount, not just towards others, but also towards yourself. You have to be kind to yourself. You have to be forgiving to yourself and others, but you also have to remember that you should be kind to yourself. Remember, there was a time you didn't know what you know now, and that can create empathy. Oftentimes, we're judged and we judge others, saying stuff like they should know better, not realizing maybe they don't know. And as a result, we should be kind to them. A good teacher is someone that doesn't make you feel less than because you didn't know something. They work with you, they have empathy towards you, they're kind to you, and they share their own hard-earned wisdom with you. And that's, in essence, what I'm trying to do right now. I'm trying to give a cheat sheet to my young black men, how to survive your 20s and how to cultivate success. And I know so many young people are going to say, I didn't have anybody to give me the game. I didn't have anybody to tell me what to do or how to move. Well, I'm here to try to do that. Now, some honorable mentions I would say is that wrap it up. I would say that if you are out there experiencing life and traveling, protect yourself. Why? Because what you have downstairs is not a game. There's diseases, there's things that can harm you. You don't want to get the wrong person in a situation where you are potentially starting a family and it's not who you desire, or you're not who they desire, because y'all both got hot. That's a big one. Another thing, being kind to yourself when you do make a mistake. And when you make a mistake, acknowledge that you made a mistake so that you can move forward. So often people, and we just stay there. We don't realize or even try to move forward from the things that we experience. So guys, that's been my Zoom for today, my message for today. I will quickly recap what the learning experience has been. One, the power of decisiveness. Setting the goal is just the start. You have to make up your mind, and that's the true key to reaching it. It's about making choices and committed to them, especially when facing the unknown on the road. 2, travel reveals strengths and weaknesses. Stepping into new environments through travel can be an incredible mirror, clearly exposing both your strengths and weaknesses. 3, media's influence on perception. The media often paints a picture of a world in crisis, leading us to believe that the sky is falling. And this can create paralyzing fear. Oftentimes, reality is often less dire than what's presented. 4. Embrace breaking routine. It's perfectly okay, even necessary, to break your routine and do something different. Travel teaches us the value of this and how stepping off the well-worn path can lead to unexpected discoveries. 5. Problems follow. Mindset is key. Wherever you go, some problems will follow because they reside in your mind. Changing your thinking takes time and effort, but it's an investment truly worth making. 6. Challenging limiting beliefs. When you challenge limiting beliefs, guys, you can experience profound truth. Many of our deeply we can achieve things far beyond what we've been told is possible. 7. Recognizing systemic marginalization. Sometimes we're told that we're not smart, that we're not good enough, that we're poor or uneducated, and we internalize this, but that's not necessarily a personal failing. Instead, I would argue that it's also a result of a system designed to marginalize communities and maintain the status quo. And I would challenge you to break free and challenge that system. It's a call to action to recognize the systemic marginalization. And I made a point by showing that if you go to another country, uh where you was poor in the United States, you would be significantly wealthier if you just went to another country. And that even in the United States, if you were from California and you consider middle class in California, but you move to a southern state or another state in the union, you will realize like, wow, I have more money over here. So that's just a part of the system. And that's my example that I would draw to show that the system is designed to marginalize communities and maintain the status quo. And that's either true or it's false. Next, number 8 is life as the greatest educator. While various forms of formal education, public, private, trade, or university are valuable, life in its totality is the greatest educator. Real world experiences offer lessons no classroom can replicate. Number 9, you are enough. There's no need to envy others. Why? Because you are enough. Whoever you are, you possess immense potential with what the universe has already given you. Your unique gifts are powerful. 10. The importance of kindness to self and others. Kindness is paramount, not just towards others, but also towards yourself. Remembering that there was a time that you didn't know what you now know fosters empathy, making when sharing your own hard-earned experience and wisdom. So that's been my episode for today. Peace to all of the young black men. And this has been Playbook for Success and Survival in Your 20s. I hope to see you on the other side.